What Genesis or Sega CD game needs to be added to this US system? Let me know in the comments right now. Yeah, you type it in right now as I keep talking. It'll be okay. It is a beautiful day for Sega fans as Sega officially announced the US release of the Genesis Mini 2. I've already done a couple of videos on this talking about the games that were supposed to be coming out for the Mega Drive Mini 2. And though they've announced 23 games, some of the games have been swapped out. So we're getting a couple of different ones in the US version than the Japanese one, which makes sense. So combining my previous list, you're going to see some of those same games. And though I'll be launching with 50 games, here are the 23 games announced so far for the Genesis Mini 2, and we're ranking them along the way. Pre-orders available now, link in the description below. Outrunners is making this list. If you're like, well, that sounds a lot like Outrun, it even looks like the same logo as Outrun. Well, you'd be right. This game plays basically like Outrun. It's like a two-player Outrun. I'm on top, they're on the bottom. I'm not doing too well right now. Although Outrun's more of a driving game, not a racing game, this one seems a little bit more like a racing game because you're competing against the other player. Same notion though, fork in the road, decide where you want to go. Different landscapes with different areas. I love Outrun in the arcade. Didn't care for Outrun so much on the Genesis, but I do like Outrunners. I think it's a lot of fun. I'll give this game a B. Well, it wouldn't be Sega Genesis without some gross, grotesque game with the Ooze. And in the Ooze, you play as this toxic pile of sludge. You literally play as a pile of ooze. You can spit at these enemies, you can also attack these enemies by extending your ooze punch type thing, I don't know. It's a very, very interesting, unique game that lets you play as a puddle. If you've always wanted to play as a puddle, if you've always wanted to play as that viscous liquid that Alex Mack used to turn herself into, the Ooze is right up your alley. Me, however, I'm giving this game a C. Interesting that Super Hang-On is making the US release, and we haven't heard anything about the Mega Drive release yet. It's one of the classic Sega games. Now, best in the arcade, because you're sitting on a motorcycle controller, basically. The Genesis 1 plays, I mean, it came out kind of during that time with, like, I don't know, like, you know, Space Harrier 2 and stuff like that. Seems a little choppy, the animation's a little off. It says you're going like 280 miles an hour, but doesn't feel like it in-game, you know what I mean? I've never really been a huge fan of the home console version of this game. At the arcade, nothing like it. At home, I'd rather play something else. This is me and me only. I'm giving this game a D. Alright, now this blew my mind when I saw this on a Sega Genesis. Not Sega CD, Sega Genesis. Now, as Super Mario Brothers was going Mario 64 in 3D, Sonic 3D Blast was the 3D version of Sonic. Well, not really 3D, it's kind of like this isometric view, but I guess it's kind of 3D, right? It's basically Sonic the Hedgehog running around on a Kirby Dream Course stage, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's different than a Sonic the Hedgehog game. It happens to have Sonic the Hedgehog in it. Just like Sonic Spinball could have been anything. I would have preferred just another 2D Sonic game, but this game's actually kind of fun when you really get into it. Pretty decent worlds to explore. You can, I mean, it has some of the Sonic vibe to it. I do love these 3D bonus stages, like where you like go into, you know, don't want to fall in the lava kind of thing, and you know, collect all the rings and all that. Cool to see this on here. I'll take it. Big fan of Rolling Thunder 2. I was a huge fan of Rolling Thunder, and Rolling Thunder 2 was more of the same. And I prefer this one, I think, to Rolling Thunder. Of course, I mean, Rolling Thunder was like the staple, but this is a really, really, really fun game. I think I even like this one more than Rolling Thunder 3. I think I'll say that at least. And so I'm glad it's Rolling Thunder 2 and not Rolling Thunder 3. If you're not familiar, it plays like a spy game, gotta shoot the guys, you can go in these doors, get some more weapons and stuff like that, avoid the other guys too. If you've only played NES your entire life, and you skipped Rolling Thunder by Tengen on the NES for any reason, think Codename Viper. It's that. Or plays like that anyway. I don't know, it's a fun game. I like this one. I have to give it a grade. Let's say B. If the logo says treasure, you pay attention. Alien Soldier. Now this was announced on its own announced thing for the Mega Drive Mini. Glad this is coming to the US. And this game is insane. Treasure, same people who made Gunstar Heroes. That same kind of fast action, so much stuff moving on the screen. I don't know how they do it on the Sega Genesis without the slowdown. Honestly, I wish there was a little slowdown in this game because it moves a little too fast for me. Absolutely insane. There's a learning curve to this game with the controls because you do have your shooting, you have your jumping, you have your other button with your weapon select, but then you can stash, you can go upside down, you can like stall in the air and hover and stuff like that. Absolutely insane. Great, great game. Crazy to see this on here. I'll give this game an A. It's definitely worth checking out.
Ready. Fight.
Here's Rainbow Island's extra version. This one came out in Japan only, and now we'll see it on the US system here. Again, interesting, they didn't announce this one on the Mega Drive Mini 2, but we are getting it here in the US. If you're not super familiar with Rainbow Islands, think Bubble Bobble. I think it's the same team as Bumble Bobble, it has to be. Scrolls vertically, but it doesn't scroll vertically all the, like, you know, like, it's not like Kid Icarus where it just keeps going and going and going. It's like these little short stages that do scroll vertically, because you're making your way to the top by nature of using these rainbows. Now, the rainbows are your weapon of attack. If you hit an enemy with a rainbow, you can destroy them. You can also jump on top of the rainbow and drop it below, and you can defeat enemies that way too. Yeah, don't forget to pick up your little items along the way too. Get your points along the way, sure. Cute game, fun game, glad this is being included. I'll give this game a B. Big thanks to my buddy Andy, I finally got a couple of Sega CD imports to work, so I can actually play the games and show you footage like Night Striker. And as I figured just by looking at the footage, Night Striker does play like a Thunderblade style game. Maybe think something like Space Harrier as well. Behind the back, floating around, shooting the people as they're coming towards you. Big old thick, chunky graphics on this one. The pixels are all super thick. Curious to play more of it. It's okay. Just love the fact that they're including import Sega CD games, because I never really got into import Sega CD games when I was playing my Sega CD. Looking forward to see what else may be included. I'll give this game a C. And finally played the Ninja Warriors for the Sega CD as well. Now, in my previous video, I showed footage of the TurboGrafx 16 version, I showed footage of the Super Nintendo version, and this is what it looks like on your Sega CD, or Mega Drive CD in this case. You play a Ninja Warrior, who's also a robot. You can have a limited amount of shurikens, throwing stars, but you can always use your little dagger thingies as they get close to you here. Not know too many ninjas with a big old ponytail like that, but you know. So far, as much as I've played versions of this game that's this game. And it's okay, it's just kind of the same thing as you keep going, and I don't know, I mean, it's kind of passable to me, but I do like the fact that you're like a robot ninja, and the more damage you take, the more like you start losing layers of stuff, so it shows like your robotic parts. You got bosses as well. I'm sorry, I'm giving this game a C. Vector Man 2 from 1996. Again, 96, this is right when, you know, Nintendo 64 was announced. It may have even been out by now. And they're just experimenting with graphics and graphical styles. And Vector Man 1 and 2 were kind of those, you know, system pushers on the Sega Genesis at the end of its lifespan. And it's decent. I mean, it's okay. It's okayly decent. That's about all I can say. Vector Man 2, interesting to play, and hey, with 50 games on this system, may as well throw this one on there too. I'll give this game a B. These are, as of right now, the US exclusive that have been announced, but here are some of the other ones I've already talked about that are coming to the US system as well. Outrun is going to be available on the Mega Drive Mini 2. Now, I loved Outrun in the arcade. We had this at our local Tiger Mart, which was a convenience store, mini mart down the street from my house. And I would play this one any chance I could. Now, we didn't have the sit-down model, it was the stand-up version. But man, I still played this game. I loved this game quite a bit. See, I'm not very good at racing games, but this isn't really a racing game. It's just more of a casual, well, not casual, but it's more of a driving game. It's a driving experience. Yes, there are other cars you gotta contend with. And the Genesis version, it plays okay. It just seemed like it's like a few steps down. It's suffering from that same kind of Space Harrier 2, not really choppy animation, but it just feels like it's missing frames of something. I wish it was running smoother, and the Genesis version was like this too, unfortunately. The arcade version was great, but yeah, you know what, this is probably the best experience we could have got at home for a game like this. Every once in a while, you'll come to a fork in the road, and you can decide which path you want to take. No matter where you go, you're gonna get a fun, scenic drive out of this game. I mean, it is a Sega game on a Sega system, so no doubt they wouldn't include this. Loved the arcade version, didn't spend a whole lot of time with the Genesis version just because of that animation, but I'll still give this game a B. I think it's worth it. Same with Afterburner 2. I loved this intro. Afterburner, another all-time classic in the arcade. You're flying your, is it an F-14 Tomcat? Did I get that correct? Shoot the other planes out of the sky. You got your rockets that you can launch, and you know that'll take care of them a lot easier for you. Different stages kind of have, you know, the different themes to them. You know, different areas. Super fast moving. I love the fact that you could barrel roll in this game, like when you tap left then right or right then left. That was just kind of fun. A great way to avoid missiles and stuff like that. Another great game to have on this collection. I mean, why not? Afterburner 2, like Outrun, I'll also give it a B. Namco, or Namcot, as it is in Japan, has several offerings on this console already, including, yeah, Splatterhouse Part 2. Splatterhouse Part 2 makes this collection. That's awesome. Follow up to Splatterhouse, you just walk along and you beat up these monsters, and has that weird kind of goozy, oozy stuff that comes out of them where you can smack them up against the wall. This game has always been a favorite by many. I think it's okay. I'm not as gung-ho about this game as most people are, but I get it, and I get the draw to this game. Giant bosses as well, too. Oof. gotta watch out for these guys. Oh, I love it. You defeat the boss and kind of spills out there, at least on the first stage anyway. Fun to see a game like Splatterhouse Part 2 will make a collection like this. And even though I didn't give it the most flattering overview, I am going to give this game an A because I love the fact that a game like this is coming to a console like this. The surprise game added to this collection is Star Mobile. This is an interesting, unique puzzle game that I've never seen outside of this game. It's a stacking game where you have to stack pieces, but each star has a different weight to it, and you have the scale, and and then below that, you know, the primary scale, you have two other scales too. Now at the very bottom, it shows you the weight of each star, so you have to kind of like match them and mix them up and everything, and you know, weigh them out, because if once that gets too heavy, then they're all going to fall off, and you need to pile up to, you know, what the norm says apparently on this one. What makes this the special edition is this didn't exist for the Sega Genesis. I'm actually showing you footage right now from the TurboGrafx 16 CD version of the game, or maybe the PC Engine CD. So either maybe this game was in development and never got released, or maybe they're just like, oh, you know what, we're actually gonna, you know, port this game over so it plays on the Mega Drive Mini 2. Either way, very cool that they're adding something like this. I wonder what else they could add where it's like, hey, this game never existed before, but if it played on the Sega Genesis, if we had it on the Sega CD, here's what it would be. Very cool, kind of hypnotizing puzzle game. I'd give it a B. Unreleased Genesis game for Fantasy Zone. Now this is footage from the Sega Ages Fantasy Zone for the Switch. However, I have a feeling that the Genesis version will play very similarly to this one. If you're not familiar with Fantasy Zone, it is classic Sega. You're this little ship as you fly around and you have to defeat these kind of enemy depots. Of course, there's other enemies along the way. You can also get money to upgrade your weapons. Gotta love that. The little map at the bottom will tell you where the enemy depots are. And you can scroll left or right in this game. It doesn't matter. Whatever is easiest for you to go through this game, it's all good. And although the colors are bright and colorful, the enemies look cute and everything, this game actually features more of a challenge than you would imagine. Gotta love these weapon upgrades too. They don't last very long, but they're cool when you have them. Once all the enemy depots are eliminated, then a boss will come down. That's always kind of fun. And the challenge for you is to hit the subscribe button before I pick up all the money, because the money doesn't last very long, so make sure you do it quick. Fantasy Zone, a wonderful game to have in any Sega collection, definitely giving this one an A. Bonanza Brothers, a fantastic game. I've talked about this a few times on my channel. It reminds me a lot of this game called Keystone Keepers I played a lot of on the Atari 2600 from Activision. However, the Genesis version, very cool. Could even be two players simultaneously if you'd like. Side-scrolling, you play the robber trying to get through these areas as you're stealing all the stuff. And there's policemen in the way, there's other armed guards in the way and stuff like that too. You can shoot them, you can also open these doors to kind of like smash into them. Gotta go up the stairs to find more treasures to behold. If you have to get knocked down, then you lose all your stuff, so you gotta go collect it really quickly. Fortunately, it's like right around you. Once you have all the items, you make your way to the exit before you lose all your lives, like I did in this playthrough. Well, oh well. I'll do better next time, but a fun game to have on here. Bonanza Brothers, as simple as it is, man, I'm gonna give this game an A. I love this game. Thunder Force 4 is included on this collection so far. First thing you do, using the D-pad, which level of areas do you want to go through first? And I love any flying game where you don't have to pick up your speed option. You can control your speed on the fly. Just by hitting a button, you can speed up or slow down. You can also get to choose which weapons you want to use when you need to use them too. Not your standard fare of, you know, shooter weapons anyway. Of course, you can pick up new ones along the way as well. Gotta have those. Awesome music, cool bosses, cool people, cool everything. This game is just cool. This game is just cool, and Thunder Force 4 might be my favorite of the Thunder Force games. I'll give this game an A. Shining in the Darkness is the name of this game, and Shining in the Darkness was a game that was deceived, but it wasn't so bad, because I thought this was just another Shining Force game. And I do love me the Shining Force games. And when I played it, I was like, alright, it's kind of like a Shining Force. I mean, it felt like it for a second there anyway, especially with the menu selection and all that, but it's different. Like, completely different. I mean, just how it looks. Now, when you're in the town, you kind of scroll through the town and everything like that. I do like when you're talking to someone. I kind of like how this looks. Like, it just looks like a cutscene, but it tells you, like, you know, which ones people are saying and what their names are and everything, so you don't forget. But then when it comes to the actual action part of the game, it turns into a dungeon crawler. And I'm not the biggest fan of dungeon crawlers. I get lost in these all the time. And then when you run into a fight scene, well, then it turns into that kind of turn-based fight scene, which is okay. I'm actually kind of cool with this. Again, I thought it was going to be another Shining Force game. Turns out, like a side story maybe? I'm not sure what you'd classify this as, but Shining in the Darkness, it's fine. I just wish it was more. And the dungeon crawler, man, I'm terrible at this. I'll at least give it a C. The music's great, at least. Got Virtua Racing, part of the wonderful Virtua series for your Sega Genesis. Now, when I say Virtua series, there's Virtua Fighting and Virtua Racing. Was there anything else? We never had a Virtua Platformer or a Virtua RPG. I guess that could have helped. But for its time, this game blew my mind. Just how it looked, how it scrolled and everything. I was like, you can do this on a Sega Genesis? That's fantastic. I think it was especially during a time, too, when like Nintendo and Super Nintendo were kind of like getting on Genesis saying, hey, we can do this and you can't. And Genesis was like, no, we can do that too. We just haven't needed to. But yeah, we can do that too. Virtua Racing, a fine racing game. It really is. I mean, if you love racing games, it's great. I like the fact, I keep on scrolling through the camera options. I like the fact that it had like several camera options. It's not just like, you know, do you want behind the driver's side or do you want like over the head? There's different ways you can look at it. Whatever's easiest for you. So far, none of them are easiest for me. I suck at this game. However, Virtua Racing is fun to have on this collection. Now I'll give this game a B. It's fun. Moving on to the Sega CD games that are included so far, we have Selfied. I believe this game's called Selfied anyway. And when I saw this, when I first played this on the Sega CD, I was like, man, you can keep your Star Fox. I got this. This is fine. And then the more I played it, the more I'm like, it still kind of feels like Star Fox a little bit. Not like all the way Star Fox, but like when the people in the background, they're telling you what's going on and what to look out for and everything. But it still just plays as a vertical shooter, but it's vertical at a scrolling angle of a shooter. So you see them way off in the distance there, but they're going to come towards you and everything and see what to look out for and what to look forward to. Love the background elements when things are happening around you, but you just got to focus on yourself and focus on not getting shot down. Now you do have an energy meter at least. Your standard fare vertical shooter, but still very, very fun and kind of, you know, mind-blowing when you first play this on a game system like the Sega CD. Got some bosses as well. The bosses are fine. I mean, they're, you know, it's a shooter game, so it's those type of bosses. At the end of the level, you can also upgrade your weapons as needed. I mean, you got two shots, a left shot and a right shot. So if you want to have like a forward beam and then this weird kind of off the angle, you can do that. Maybe not the best lineup for this one anyway. Super fun game though. I'd give this game a B. Now this was a game I was looking forward to, Shining Force CD, and I'm so glad they included this on here. You love the Shining Force games 1 and 2, this game plays that same style, same way, but with the soundtrack that a CD provides you, man, it's one of the best soundtracks. It's one of the best CD soundtracks on the Sega CD of all the games ever. If nothing else, play it for the soundtrack. And up front and on top, it's a Shining Force game, and that's exactly what I was looking for. If you're not super familiar with the Shining Force games, maybe you've heard of them before, they can best be compared to today as a game that plays like a Fire Emblem. Now, at the time, I didn't have anything to compare this to. Maybe a little bit like an Ultima from way back in the day. When I heard of Fire Emblem, I was like, oh, it plays like Shining Force. I'm sure other places, you know, they say the other thing around. And it's fine. And if you like the Shining Force games, it's amazing. And I'll give this game an A. If you're having Sega CD games on a Sega collection, you gotta have Sonic CD. And boy, did they ever add a Sonic CD. Now, if you like Sonic the Hedgehog and you've never played Sonic CD, you're in for a treat. It plays like the old school Sonic the Hedgehog games because it is an old school Sonic the Hedgehog game. That's how that works. Has a couple of added elements that they could do with the Sega CD that they couldn't do with your Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. It also deals a lot with time. There's past and future signs around there, and when you pass through one of those and then build up enough speed and keep moving and not stop, you end up going into the future or going into the past, which can help you play the different levels differently. And instead of Chaos Emeralds, you have Time Emeralds, which play like this kind of 3D Mario Kart-ish, you know what I mean? Scrolling area where you have to jump up and hit these UFOs out of the sky. Get all the UFOs in the time limit. You get your time crystal, there you go. I'm not sorry, time stones. Man, aside from all that, it is old school Sonic the Hedgehog, and you gotta love that. If I'm ranking these games among themselves, this game gets an S. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, it's Sonic CD, you can't go wrong. On to Mansion of Hidden Souls. Now, Mansion of Hidden Souls was a game I tried to get into, man. I played it a couple, I think I rented it, because I had to check it out. I mean, I love games like Seventh Guest and things like that, and this one looks like it could have been one of those, but man, I just couldn't figure it out. It's a whole lot of walking around and not a whole lot of instruction of what to do or where to go outside of like, find the hidden souls? I don't know. They're hidden. They're too hidden for me. I'm going to spend more time with this game. This gameplay, I'm capturing my own footage here. This is the first time I played this game since I rented it for the Sega CD when it first came out. So I'm going to spend some more time on this one. If I had to rank it up front, I'd give it a D, just because I couldn't figure it out, but maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll end up enjoying this game. Sad to hear that Popful Mail wasn't announced on the US system yet. I'm hoping it will be announced. And also crossing my fingers we get that Snatcher for Sega CD on this US console.